With the release of Sponge Out of Water, I figured that it would be a great time to do a countdown for my top 10 favorite SpongeBob episodes. SpongeBob has a very special place in my heart and my childhood, and even to this day I still love watching SpongeBob. So, there are some rules for this list. 1, there are none. I'm just kidding. Honorable mentions go to Help Wanted, Rip Pants, and I'm Your Biggest Fan. Hi, Kevin. SB129 is a very unique SpongeBob episode. This is the first episode that focuses mainly on Squidward, and it's great. It starts out with SpongeBob and Patrick annoying Squidward, and when Squidward has enough, he goes to the Krusty Krab to get some peace and quiet. Yeah, the Krusty Krab is closed on Sunday, and then gets locked in the freezer for 2,000 years. Much better freezer situation than Truth or Square. When he finally gets thawed out by Spongetron, a robotic SpongeBob, Bikini Bottom is futuristic, where everything is chrome, which makes sense nowadays since Internet Explorer is retiring. Squidward wants to go back in time, where he even goes to BC times and invents jellyfishing. He can't stand all the quiet in the alone room, and then goes insane. So, what does Squidward do? He wants to go back to the time he once was, even with SpongeBob and Patrick. And then he appreciates them, even if they are a little annoying. It's a very funny and heartwarming episode at the same time. Valentine's Day, how I didn't miss you. But for SpongeBob, he loves it. He has a special Valentine's Day gift planned for Patrick, a chocolate balloon piloted by Sandy, and Patrick is hyped. When Sandy is having problems delivering the balloon, SpongeBob gives Patrick a handshake as a gift. Patrick, very disappointed at first, but when he sees better gifts, Patrick goes absolutely insane. He goes and kills Hearts on Sticks, he defies Heartman, he pops balloons and throws citizens up in the air for endless laughs. Patrick finally gets his chocolate balloon and is so excited that he pops it. It's a hilarious episode for anyone who loves or hates Valentine's Day. The sub shows Patrick's stupidity at its finest. SpongeBob is sick and tries his best to have a normal day, but ultimately fails. He asks Sandy to take him to the doctor. After Patrick hears that, he tells SpongeBob the horrors of the doctor's office, such as the horrors of old magazines. I don't mind reading old magazines if they're Nintendo power, but I can understand the horrors. SpongeBob then doesn't want to go, so Patrick impersonates a doctor and fails miserably. Doing anything to avoid SpongeBob going to the doctor ends up in many funny moments. My favorite being when Patrick makes SpongeBob's foot into a sandwich and says, "Don't touch me, I'm sterile." Sandy finally calls out the BS, and eventually SpongeBob goes to the doctor. It ends up for a great SpongeBob episode, and SpongeBob finally gets better. But for Patrick, I don't think so. This episode is great to watch no matter what time it is, and it's especially good to watch when you're sick. What would be the best SpongeBob episodes list without one Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy episode? I highly doubt we'll get any more episodes with Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, considering the obvious. Out of all the Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy episodes, my favorite without a doubt is Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 4. When Mermaid Man left his belt on the Krusty Krab, SpongeBob has a little too much fun with it. Squidward threatening to tell on SpongeBob leads to SpongeBob shrinking him. Not only does he shrink Squidward, he then shrinks Patrick. When the belt is sent to Wumbo, you know, Wumbology, then SpongeBob shrinks the entire town. Everyone is mad at him and tries to tear SpongeBob apart. SpongeBob then does a smart move, shrinks the whole town, and everything is back to normal. Except for when Plankton gets back from vacation, bigger than the entire city. This episode is a Wumboing experience that's filled with many great jokes and funny moments. What? A modern SpongeBob episode on this list? That's right. In case you didn't see my review on It's a Spongebob Christmas, I'll give you a quick summary. Everyone in Bikini Bottom is excited for Christmas except for Plankton. This makes Plankton want to make everyone naughty in the town and get presents for himself. What does he do? He puts an ingredient in fruitcake that makes everyone jerks except for SpongeBob. It's up to SpongeBob to save Christmas. This episode is done in stunning stop motion and you should definitely watch it. I don't judge an episode based on the season, I judge it if it's good or bad, and this is definitely good. This SpongeBob episode relates to me the most out of any SpongeBob episode. I have had many pets in the past few years, and I recently got a sugar glider. Sugar gliders are harmless, but they sometimes jump on people's faces. It seems like everyone in my family who once thought that my sugar glider was adorable are all scared of her, and Wormy is just that. SpongeBob and Patrick have to pet sit for Sandy and fall in love with Sandy's pet worm. What they don't know is the worm evolves into a butterfly. Yeah, it should be a caterpillar, but expecting knowledge from SpongeBob is like expecting intelligence from Saima Zargami. Once they finally see the butterfly, they think it ate Wormy and are terrified. Warning the whole city about it, the town goes insane. Sandy finally gets back and puts the butterfly in a jar, and the town is saved. This is a hilarious and relatable episode that will just put a smile on your face, and you can watch it at least 100 times. Another Christmas episode? Yep, Christmas Who is another great Squidward episode. In this episode, SpongeBob introduces Christmas to Bikini Bottom, and everyone gets excited. Unfortunately, Santa is running a little late, and everyone is mad at SpongeBob because they think he's lying. Then Squidward makes fun of SpongeBob, but then SpongeBob gives him a present. The best present Squidward ever got. Squidward feels like a total jackass. Literally, it shows a jackass on the screen. And after all of that trouble SpongeBob went to making the clarinet, Squidward dresses up as Santa and makes SpongeBob's wish come true, even going to the extent of giving away everything. It's a very heartwarming episode of SpongeBob, which still managed to be funny. This is also the first episode that has Patchy and Potty, and it's their best segments of any episode. Just remember, kids, don't eat raw cookie dough. Imitation KRABS is my favorite Plankton episode. Plankton makes a robot out of Mr. Krabs to try to steal the Krabby Patty formula. Squidward knows Robo Krabs is a phony, but accepts a day off from him. But SpongeBob believes that Robo Krabs is Mr. Krabs. Robo Krabs passes all the tests to get the formula, and when Mr. Krabs walks in, he is pissed. To find out who the real Mr. Krabs is, SpongeBob threatens to make Mr. Krabs into dinner, and it happens to the real Mr. Krabs. Plankton almost got the formula, but there was a self-destroy coin slot on the Robo Krabs. Dumb idea, Plankton. Dumb idea. The scenarios between SpongeBob and Robo Krabs are very funny. I even remember the Bikini Bottom anthem. Oh, Bikini Bottom, we pledge our hearts to you, as deep and faithful, as true as you. Bikini Bottom, we love you. A great episode that can't be imitated. Oh. You all knew this episode would be here somewhere. Band Geeks is one of the funniest, energetic, and overall best SpongeBob episodes. Squidward wants to kick Squilliam Fancy Son's ass by forming a band that would put his band to shame. Squidward tries to form a band, but nobody in the town would listen to Squidward's instructions. SpongeBob then leads the town to treat Squidward like a hero and makes Squidward's dream come true with an epic musical number from SpongeBob that can't be beat. They nail the performance at the Bubble Bowl, even better than Katy Perry's halftime at the Super Bowl, and puts Squidward to happiness and Squilliam to shame. This episode has some of the most classic SpongeBob lines in history, my favorite being "Is mayonnaise an instrument?" There isn't much to say about this episode because everything's been said before. This episode is only beat by chocolate with nuts! What can I say about this episode besides the fact that it is the funniest SpongeBob episode ever? And that's what a SpongeBob episode should be, since SpongeBob is a comedy show. The plot is simple. SpongeBob and Patrick try to sell chocolate bars, but this ends up very wrong. The whole episode is full of funny moments. The scammers selling chocolate bar bags to SpongeBob and Patrick. The old lady and her mom. By the way, the mom sounded like my 7th grade science teacher, Miss Cook. When Patrick suggests for SpongeBob and him to get naked, and it gets saved for real estate. SpongeBob and Patrick going on dates with the old ladies. And most importantly, the chocolate guy. Without this episode, Season 2 would have been better than Season 3, and everything about this episode is great. If you haven't watched it, you better, because you'll regret it if you don't. This concludes my top 10 favorite SpongeBob episodes list. Now, there are many other episodes that I like, but I couldn't fit them all on here. There are so many great SpongeBob episodes, and there are a lot of bad ones. But one of the things I recommend is getting the complete 100 episodes box set. Not only will you get the classic seasons, you have a lot of great episodes from season 4 and 5. So, that's it for today. Keep calm and Dada on, and watch Sponge Out of Water.